what we're going to be doing now is we're looking to nail your marketing in 2025. How can we double your revenue and improve your profit? How can we hire more movers and staff? I've got one client that really, really needs help. And my goal for now is I want to get her someone to help answer the phones, help her do some scheduling, because she's doing it all on her own. And I want to be able to help her accomplish that goal the first quarter, so she can have a little bit of time off herself, take a breather, as well as grow the business. It's very, very hard. I know, as a solopreneur running a moving company, it's going to be very, very difficult to run everything on your own. You're going to be so stressed out. So hiring the right people to help you fill those tasks within the business, I think, is really important. So if you're just starting out, how are we going to get that done? I think also many of you are, we're family, and you have families to take care of, whether that's your own children or that could be, your friends and family. How are you going to provide for your families? How are you going to take time off and have a life? Have some vacation time. What can we do to help you get you there? So one thing is to set clear goals for 2025. Like I said, I prefer this to be called, in fact, I'm going to go back later. I'm going to change these out from goals to a map. And I just would rather talk about building the step-by-step. How am I going to get from January 2025 at this goal to December 2025 at this goal? What's that map look like? How am I going to get there? How am I going to keep the phone ringing, keep the crews working, keep the trucks moving? What are the things that we need to do to get clear direction to drive your success? And, ask that question. How many leads do you need to get there? How many converted leads? That's another thing is, some people buy using these lead providers, which are great. I mean, it just depends. Some of them are really great. Some of them are really crappy. But the problem is that you might get 100 leads a month and maybe only 20% are legit, and you're only converting 5%. So rather than having a full marketing plan where your leads are coming from different locations and people know you by brand, you're not vying for the attention because there's 20 other people who are getting the exact same lead as you. How can we get it to the point where they're coming to you because they heard of you, they've seen you, they like what you've had to say, they've seen your social media, they've been to your website, and all the things that you want them to do or want them to see are there. And so how are we going to get there? So now let's look at the workbook. And like I said, this is a workbook. I prefer it if you printed this out, have this next to you, start filling out as much as you can. And if you are a business owner, these are the numbers you need to know off the top of your head. If I call you, if somebody in the digital marketing realm, these are the questions I'm asking you. What is your average ticket? That could be $500 to $2,500 to $10,000 per ticket if you're doing long distance moves, right? If you're doing labor only, it could be $250. I don't know. It's what's your average ticket is. How many do you actually convert? So if we send 100, how many do you convert? Is it 50%, 75%, 10%? Those are just numbers you need to know. And then that's the current snapshot. Then I want you to go through and, we're going to share this tab. Said you're not seeing this tab. So this is the tab. This is what I want you to look at. This is the 2025, your current snapshot. And you're going to have as of 2024, end of 2024, filling this out. What are you currently at? And then we're going to have 2025 goal. What's your vision? What do you see in 2025? How do you see yourself? What's the average ticket? If we're not converting enough, we're not able to pay our bills, how are we addressing that? Do I need to increase my prices? Do I need to improve my sales? Do I need to improve the quality of leads that come to my site? What are the things that I need to do? And these are all those levers that we're going to go through to make sure that I reach that vision. And then what we'll do here is we'll look at the worksheet. So print that out, take a moment. Now we're going to look at the annual worksheet. These are the numbers. This is something that I've built for you guys. And these are where you're going to kind of put in where you're at. What's your target goal? So Some are at 500,000 right now. We're not quite at the million stage. So I'm just going to make this really easy. I'm just going to pretend like we're doing 1,000,000 in sales. Oh, that's 100,000. We want a little bit more than that. All right, let's pretend, let's say our goal is to make 1,000,000 by the end of 2025. If that would mean you're going to have a monthly total gross revenue target of $83,333 minimum to get to that $1,000,000 stage, right? That's just your current revenue is, let's just say you're at 750K. Is that right? Yeah. All right. That's 133% growth in 2025. I think that's very doable. Very. What is your average ticket value? I get all kinds of numbers. I'm just going to go with, let's just say 1,200 is an average ticket because I get small single family rooms, 3 bedrooms, right? And again, this is all, don't look at this as like that's what it should be. It is all very dependent on where you live. New York versus someone in Ohio versus I'm in Houston, Texas. That average ticket value, California, is going to be very different. So what is your average ticket value? So that would mean if I had an average ticket value of 1,200, that means I need to have 69 jobs booked jobs, 69 per month to get me to that million. So everyone comes to me, I want to make $1 million this year. That means, can you take on that many jobs? If you've got one truck, I don't know. I think you need to get more trucks. You need more salespeople. So what's that mapped? You can do this quarterly as well. To get to that $1 million mark, break it down in quarters. The first quarter, I need to make this much. Maybe by the second quarter, I need to get a truck. Maybe by the third, I need to hire staff and stop looking at contractors. So this is where you get those numbers from. Now, what is your average conversion? Let's say it's 50%. I would need 139 leads coming in every month to get to that 69 booked moves. And that's with the 50%. Now you can see if I adjust this, if let's just say I'm at 25%, that means I need 278 leads coming in. So it behooves you to get better at sales. It gets better at qualified leads. And other than, or, we've got one of our clients at 75%. So he only needs about 100 in order for him to get to that 69 per month booked moves. Average cost per generated lead, right? So that's 374. Annual budget required to hit that target is 34,650. So that's our B17. I always forget. B17 times B19. Yeah. Right. So if we've got an average cost per generated lead is 374, that means I need an annual budget of $34,650. Right now, I'm going to get into the budget allocation soon. Now, if I come here to budget allocations, there's that $1 million. Now, this is where you adjust what you're willing to spend. This is your marketing budget percentage. 5% is rather low. It's very, very conservative, but that's typically where most people sit at. You can keep adding that. If you get to, let's just say 8% is the rule of thumb, you can see how the numbers adjust. So if you're looking to get $1 million and you want an 8% marketing budget, that's $80,000 per year marketing budget. So some people get a little frightened about that. So we stick it at 5%. That means you got $50,000. That's total $50,000 each year for a marketing budget. And then you break it down by 12, right? Now we're going to allocate that. We've got online marketing. We've got offline marketing, which is maybe if you've got some flyers that you send out, some letters, some postcards that you send out. You've got some offline, maybe you've got a banner somewhere, and then repeat business. How much you're going to spend on repeat business. And you can always adjust this. So let's just say we do 20% here, and then I'll do 5% here. And 5% is having touch base with people you've already worked with. Apartment owners, remember, they move almost every year, depending on the lease. So how are you going to reach out to past customers? This is where the budget starts filling out, depending on your percentage of how much money you want to spend per per section, per segment. And so in this case, $37,500 on online marketing, $10,000 on offline, and $2,500 on repeat business. Now, this is marketing, not sales. So that's another budget. So you can now start kind of breaking down, 8 points. So January online marketing is 3,000. And that's not a lot. This is where I kind of go, if you're including an online marketing of $3,125, that's not a lot of money to get to the $1 million range. So this is where you kind of adjust it here. What if I do 85% and I do 15%? And well, let's do 10% because I still think you need to reach out to others. Now we're up to 3,500. Now, how much you're going to break this down into further down into marketing allocations to SEO, PPC, display, right? We can just keep on going and breaking it down. But this is a really great tool to figure out what your numbers are going to be, which is really, really important to map this stuff out. Try not to go in blind every year. Have a plan. Figure out how you're going to get to the end of the year and have that budget set up. Now, this is where I was talking about that snapshot. So we're going to have an average monthly revenue. We've got typical number of projects you run per month. We're going to have average ticket, average conversions, number of movers, number of trucks, and number of staff. So we're going to fill all this data in. And this is where, again, we kind of come down to figuring out what your snapshot is as of 2024. Do this again for 2025 for the future. And again, using our budget planner here. So breaking it down, if we have an average monthly revenue of $5,000 or a $5 million goal, divide that by 12. That's 41,000. My numbers here. 41,600 and let me go back. 666, extra 6 in there. Typical number of projects per month is 50. And so just kind of breaking it down, right? Average 1,500, 30% conversion. And so those are just kind of those metrics you want to keep track of. Do that again for 2025, come up with that plan for how you're going to accomplish that $1 million, $5 million, $10 million goal for that period. Now, I would recommend you do it for 2028, a 3-year map as well. Break that down. So if you're at $1 million, how do I get to 5 million or 10 million in 3 years? Do that as well. That's going to help you figure out, again, how many trucks I need, how many people I need, how much I need to spend on operations, marketing, and get those numbers out.